Greetings, YouTube! Yeah, we're back into the WGS Arcade, and we are back with more of Time Tenshi. On the last episode, well, we found out one of the major side effects of, what happens with Kyo when she goes through the time window. Apparently, she gets drunk and her boobs get big. And of course, Rose, who was a little bit promiscuous and touchy-feely when we first met her, has now completely changed back and being a proper English woman. And by the way, to the Studley man, Ashley, if I insulted you with my horrible, I mean god-awful English accent, I apologize. Please don't come to the States and kill me. Please. Anyway, we're going to go visit Michelle and see how out of whack she is. Hey, Michelle. Oh, hello, Kenji. Still around, I see. Yeah, everything all right? Just fine, just fixing up a few things on the database before we prepare for our next jump through the time window. It takes a lot of energy and planning to make sure everything goes correctly. Ah, I see. Was there anything you want to know, Kenji? I can answer any questions you have. I know your grandfather wanted you to wait, but if you're up for it, I can give you a bit more detail on the workings of this lab. Yeah, actually, I was kind of wondering about a few things. Like what? Well, why did you agree to help my grandfather build this? Oh, that's an easy one. You see, I'm the eldest of the trio of girls here, and such, I've been pursuing my scientific and engineering career for quite a while now. I've always wanted to be a part of a bigger project, and push things to their absolute limit. Sometimes that is the only way to discover new things. When your grandfather came to me, I was still over at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, getting my PhD in mechanical engineering, minoring in material science engineering. Gramps saw this as the perfect combination for his studies and asked me to help out. Don't you find this kind of suspicious that he got all girls for his project? At first glance, it is extremely suspect, yes. I had my doubts about his intentions. But once you get to know him, you can tell that Gramps is a very nice and genuine man. He didn't come to us because we were attractive or because we were female. He came to us because we were some of the most intelligent in our fields. I had to reread that one real quick. Across the entire world. Your grandfather, he did his research. He went for younger people as opposed to older people because he felt they had more open minds. So, did he tell you why he wanted to make a time machine in the first place? Gramps is a very interesting individual. He literally told me the first time we discussed this idea of his that he wanted to do this to simply see if he could. I asked him, what if you put all this time, money, and resources into this pipe dream only to fall on your face? And you know what he told me? He said, well then, at least I tried to do something impossible instead of just dreaming about it for the rest of my life. Gramps wanted to test his imagination, his ideas. He wanted to put forth his formulae and break the laws that mankind had set for themselves, and look at that, he did it. So what do you guys use it for then? Well, we were going to use it to confirm history. Merely as observers, we were going to go back and make sure that the things in the history books actually played out the way they were. Scientists and engineers working as historians? If you want to simplify it like that, by all means. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do that for very long. What do you mean? What happened? I suppose I should tell you about this now rather than later. One day we were nearing the end of development. We were hacked by an espionage organization. Somehow they gained word of our developments and stole what was essentially the complete research that we held in our possession. The company's name is Chrontek. Ever since they copied the blueprints from under our nose, we've had to do two jobs. Our main historian job, as well as tracking them and making sure that they don't alter time in any way. If they do that, well, time could potentially fall apart. We knew the risk when we started developing the machine. It's unfortunate that the blueprints got out of our hands before we could stop Chrontek. Oh man, how do you prevent them from doing anything? We usually cut them off in the past. Use some disruptors I developed to send them back to their own time without hurting them. Tensai is working on getting a lock on their location in order to shut down their facility for good. Hasn't had any results as of yet, however. Dang. Have you tried negotiating with them? Telling them the dangers? Of course. They go against our words, saying that science was meant to be tested. They aren't inherently evil people. We just aren't sure whether they're responsible enough to handle time travel technology. Well, what do you when you think about it, is anyone responsible enough for it? Sorry, forget I said anything. Was there anything else you wanted to know, Kenji? Yeah, about what happens to people who pass through the time window. Now how did I know you would ask about that? I'm asking purely for scientific... Yeah, save it, you perv. So basically, the science behind it is when a person goes through the time window, their endocrine system gets a sort of hypercharge, if you will. It causes it to work overtime, and thus it produces an outlandish amount of estrogen. This, among a few other things, makes the girls grow more womanly curves and act a lot more seductive. So it messes with their brain. Essentially, yes, but we've tested enough to make sure that none of the effects are harmful or permanent. So we'd ask you to stay in your room for 24 hours after any one of the girls come back through the time window so as to prevent any sort of activities. Oh, man. That's called dangling a carrot. When you're basically living in a facility with 3 extremely gorgeous girls who get extremely overly charged in their sexual regions. You just want to see. You just want to see. That's all I'm going to say. I really don't know how to take this conversation further, so conversation closed. Let's move on. I shuffled uncomfortably as she said it, a stern look on her face. I nodded silently. Now then, anything else you want to know? I think that's all I can handle for now, Michelle. Thank you. I'm more than happy to talk about these things, Kenji. Feel free to talk to me about anything else that may confuse you. For now, go get some rest. Yeah, alright, I'll see you tomorrow. Whew, I'm exhausted. All 3 of them seem really nice, though. It'd still be nice to be around them and get my mind off things. I dressed in a loose t-shirt and some shorts and hopped into bed, quickly passing out. Whoa. Huh? I heard a loud blaring alarm as I fell out of the bed onto the floor. What the? I rubbed my head as I stood heading towards the door out to the lab. What's going on? Chrontek is at it again. Sorry to wake you, Kenji, but this was an emergency signal. Have you pinpointed the location yet, Michelle? Just about. Rose, Kyo, go get suited up. I'll get this down in the meantime. I'll try to locate the source of their own time window while a trace is still available. Best of luck, Gramps. I stood there awkwardly as the alarm blared, the sounds of rapid typing on the keyboards and the muttering under Michelle's breath, the only real things keeping me occupied. After a few minutes, Kyo and Rose stepped back in. Rose's outfit I had seen before, but Kyo's took me aback. She's a dirty maid. Is that French maid? Whoa. Kyo could tell I was looking right at her as I explained my shot. She blushed. What? It's really flexible and I picked it up myself. No, sorry, it looks nice on you. I just wasn't expecting it. That's all. Alright, Kenji-san, if you say so. Not as if you'll be able to see it for long. Now get in there. I got them targeted and ready for confrontation. Be careful, you two. You never know what kind of trouble they could be trying to rustle up. What are they trying to alter this time? Mid-18th century Germany. Apparently trying to do something about the Silesian Wars. Always has to be a war, doesn't it? I carry a sword for a reason, Kyo.
I know, but still, can't they try to alter anything else?
Apparently they want to play peacekeepers through time. I have no idea what kinds of insane plans they have, but now isn't the time to discuss it. Get going, I'll have an eye on you guys, so don't worry. They both nodded as the time window opened in a blinding flash of white. They stepped up towards it and vanished through the portal. The light disappeared and Michelle put up a video on the large monitor in front of her. I leaned over her shoulder and was able to see the scene along with her. So this is where they went. This is where they're at? How can you see this? The time window has some very helpful abilities, such as an observance mode that lets me see what the girls see for as long as they're through it. As you can see, they made it through just fine. Now watch and learn, kid. Ugh, I'll never get used to this sort of thing.
Just hang in there, Rose. It'll be fine.
Eep. Both girls grit their teeth as their chests suddenly surged into their respective clothes. That's an understatement. As they moved through the time window's vortex, more and more was stacked upon their already prominent busts. They dared not speak as their clothes creaked and groaned, adjusting to the new size of the blossoming orbs they were meant to keep covered.
I swear, we get bigger each time.
I love Kyo. Kyo, you're great. You're great, Kyo. As long as we don't keep any of it, I don't care.
Oh, what's the matter, Rose? They look nice on you, hee hee.
Rose blushed at Kyo's word as their chest made one final surge outwards. The sudden rush of growth caused them both to gasp as they reached their new size, still just as perky, somehow, as before they went through. Phew. Made it. Well, oh, you can even see it in the avatars! Even in the freaking avatars, their boobs grow! Holy shit! Once we beat that starting revelation, what we're going to do, guys and gals, I'm going to call it an episode, and when we come back to the arcade, we're going to see where they're at in mid-18th century, and find out what Chrontek is up to. So with that being said, I am your friendly neighborhood WrestleGamer, and I will see you at the next Warp Zone. Bye, guys! I think that's about all for now. I'm going to go chat with some of the other girls, get to know them a bit.
Oh, okay, but come back so we can watch this.
Natalya had Charlotte in the sharpshooter when Ric Flair pulled the referee out of the ring while Charlotte was tapping out. Referee would disqualify Charlotte, giving Natalya the